Hey there, everybody. My name's Chris. Welcome back to the channel, and this will be our first video in the tutorial tips, tricks, cheats, and kind of setup video for Starters Orders 7. I will get on to how to install mods and everything, but I think before you jump into mods, even just graphical mods, a base knowledge of the game itself is going to be key. It can be so finicky to get some mods working, especially the complicated ones like Start It mod that I use. That's a custom schedule, custom racetracks, custom data. Like it edits everything really about the game. So, before we send you down the path of trying to get that set up, and maybe you don't enjoy the game or it's too much work for you, then I think coming at this from a point of just learning the very basics and making sure that you've got a secure footing before trying to like climb any mountains. Let's just get that out of the way. So episode one's going to be about how to set up a save, how to scum. If you're to save scumming, right, you save and reload a bunch. How to save scum in a way. It's basically deleting your save. Uh, just starting with a new save every single time to find a good starter horse. Then we're also going to go over how to save scum to do a money trick to give you boost of money at the beginning of the game, and then kind of run you through how to set up the game using that money and the starter horses and kind of what your first season is going to look like, maybe a bit beyond that. So we're going to start there, give you that kind of basic, this is how we start the game, and these are extra things you can do if you want to. Um, and then just as we go along, I'll be explaining all the things I do, which aren't vanilla gameplay, aren't intended gameplay. Um, and then from there, we'll move into installing the mods and how to kind of do different things, and any other questions you've got to answer, we can answer. As you can see here, this is the save game that we've got the series going on right now. We're in season 7. And you can see that it's all set up, and we're pretty much going to recreate this type of game. You can choose whatever you want to come from. Some have jumps, some have a combined flats and jumps. Some don't. America. There's only flat racing, and I don't really do jumps. So if you want to learn how to do jumps, there's other people, including people in the comment section. By all means, leave some messages in the comment section. Leave some comments asking about jumps and about other people's opinions, because they'll have an idea of what those attributes look like and what you're kind of breeding for. It might be different than the flats. I know that Jumpsman's in there. I know that a couple other people are in there as well that I've spoken to previously about their jump save. I know Jumpsman in particular because I've had a save file from him in the past, um, where basically I could just run through and race some of his monsters that he bred. And if you think mine are scary, oh boy, you have no idea. Because I'll keep going back to Nonagon. Like that's the one horse that stood out to me, and just the whole breeding program was nuts. Yeah, scary. But they know jumps more than me. Pretty much in their name, Jumpsman. But to begin with, we're going to select what we want to do. I'm going to show you how to set up my USA schedule. Now, this is modded, but none of this changes if it isn't modded. I'm just not going to install a second uh, iteration of Starters Order 7 because that can mess things up. And I'm not going to uninstall all my mods to set this up and show you. And then when I want to play my regular save for the other playlist we got going on YouTube, to have to reinstall all the mods for that and then uninstall it for this and blah, blah. So we're not doing that. I'm just going to pick this bottom save slot, but America, flats. and easier. You get more horses. I think I think on harder you get 3 horses. On normal you get 4 horses. On easier you get 5 horses. I think money wise you get 180, 240, $320,000. I think. Um, and betting and training are easier than normal, or they're harder depending what you choose here. So I always select easier because the game's not fun when it's a grind for me. I'm here to win triple crowns. I'm here to like breed monsters. I'm here to fulfill that side. I'm not interested in realistic, and I'm not interested in a grind. Like I just want to get to a point where I can dominate. That's my enjoyment. So going into it, you're going to set it up slightly differently if your priorities are different. But for me, trainer owner game, 100%. Um, like league mode, there is an online community. They play league. It's not a thriving aspect anymore, but it used to be quite big. And maybe by the time Stars Orders 8 comes around, it is. You can look into that if you want. But to participate in it, there's a number of checks and balances to make sure that, everybody's doing things the intended ways and nobody's using any exploits. So you have to be in league mode, and some of the cheats and stuff don't work in that mode. Um, so yeah, if you want to learn more about that, please do go look on the forums and everything else. Search it up. But that's not for me. Betting game, you're basically only betting, and you're trying to win $1 million. And if you abuse the same money glitch I'm going to show you, that'll be an instant win. Um, and yeah, like training and like no, I'm not interested in being a trainer of someone else. I want to own the barn and train things, set things up, and then hand it off to the jockeys on race day. So if you do get into any of these, it'll change a bunch of things for you. I like the simple training model because like I'm not interested in setting them up to work and like little pre-race runs and like blowing up the cobwebs, little gallop here, and not interested. I'll leave that to the head lad. I'm kind of very hands off in some ways, and so yeah, let them do their job. I'm focusing on my job. Small fields, like that just means that you're not going to get a lot of races, like a lot of maiden races where there's like 10, 11 horses in the field. It'll be more sort of 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 7. Um, I don't put that in. I just let horses run. Auto days, this is how many seasons it's going to play before it allows you to take on. So if you want to see the world with like 10 generations and you can see who won the Triple Crowns and the Jockey Club World Cup, the Pegasus World Cup, the Cheltenham Gold Cup, if you're playing jumps, the Grand National, the Arc de Triomphe, the Tennis Show, like whatever races that you value, if you want to see who wins those 3 or 4 years or 10 years into this game, and then try and find them or their descendants in the breeding barn or in the auctions, you can do that. I just want to get in and play, so I always go 1 year. Form cards, how long they keep the form of each horse. The form is just their recent racing record, so where they finished. I don't care about form horses. I don't study the form cards that much. Like if it's more than 2 years back, then I think horses have changed a lot in that time. 7 years is fine, and if we don't kind of look back at either, we're always looking at 2 and 3 year olds. So I keep that down lowest, and replays we can do 1 to 5 years. Replays I don't tend to watch them more than a year afterwards. I'll watch maybe a 2 year old replaying their 3 year old season. So 1 year is fine by me. One player, you can add more players if you want, and that gives you more chances to start with horses and everything. I like focusing on one. You type your name in, you pick your silks from the list. I like the white with a black star. Pick your cap and a reserve cap. So if you've got multiple horses in a race, it'll give the first one you book that cap and then your reserve cap to the other one. I got a pink cap and a green cap because usually these aren't unique to you. There will be some AI that uses the silks you choose, but usually I find that they have very similar caps to the silks. So they're probably a black cap or a white cap or a rich blue or a rich red. So I've gone for a pink and a light green, and I think that helps differentiate before anything else. And if you've got custom schedules, you've got more than one schedule, you can kind of select your schedule down here. I don't. I only got the modded schedule actually overwrites the default, so I just set that up. Start a new game. It's then going to ask you about, excuse me, about legends. So you can look through everything and decide what you want. And you can just like set them up. So, do they retire at the same age they did? Do they have a realistic career? So if they might be a legend, but they didn't race well before 4 years of age, then that's going to be replicated. If you click this, you can see the recommended schedules. There's a ton of British horses because this is a British made game. I believe it's a Scotsman who makes this. Mark, I believe. I think he's Scottish. He might not be, but he's definitely British. Yeah, this will give you an idea. And then if you want to include these legends in the game, you can. And as well, if you want to use the same silks for the jockeys that rode each of these horses, you can. I will say there's a bunch of good horses. I'm gonna like list my top four, maybe top four right now. Um, yeah, I'm gonna start with Desert Orchid, and you can like rename them as well. Like Desert Orchid, very very good horse. I know quite well. Um, I know of anyway because I was always hearing the name when it come time for the Grand National in Britain, kind of a big racing event. So even if you're not interested in horse racing, you kind of know what the Grand National is, and especially growing up in the 80s, 90s, 2000s, I think there was more of a presence. You get newspapers or people talking about it, or your dad, mom, cousin, uncle, someone put some bets on, or even you get some snacks and stuff and sit around the front room. For us, it was at our grandparents. We did this a few times. Get some sandwiches, some crisps, some pop. Sit in the front room, watching the TV in the corner of the room, watching the Grand National, and everybody would just pick a horse or a jockey or a silk, whatever way you want to pick your shot. Everybody would have one shot, and then we wouldn't gamble amongst each other, but it would just be like a bragging rights thing, or an ice cream or something as a prize for whoever did well. But they usually be the adults be sneakily betting now and again. So I know Desert Orchid from that kind of thing. Very good horse. Probably nowhere near the best horse in this. There's definitely two. You can kind of flip a coin on opinions for who the greatest racehorse of all time is. Um, some people's number one isn't even on this list. Mine is. And there's two names that are head and shoulders above the rest. Desert Orchid isn't that. Another one that isn't that, but I love as well is Black Caviar. I think just phenomenal horse. The Aussie, just a monster. A monster. The best Aussie horse of all time for my money without any qualifiers. Love that horse. I think it's just amazing. Um, just amazing. So that'll be Orca be 4, Caviar be number 3. And then in game, I believe it's the best horse, but for me, it's my number 2 of all time because Frankel is just insanely good. Um, if you ever race against Frankel in the game, that's probably the horse you can have the biggest problem beating. It is an absolute monster. I think it's hard coded to be like just almost almost unbeatable until you get your breeding program to like final stage evolution level. Then maybe you have a shot at beating someone like Frankel. Um, but yeah, such a great horse. My number 2 of all time, I like the Triple Crown, the American Triple Crown. Talk about it all the time. Kentucky Derby, Preakness, Belmont. Horse that did it, and like a horse before it hadn't done it for such a long time, hadn't done it for ages afterwards until American Pharaoh. Set records which still stand, and like just not only set records, but like the fastest quarter mile, the fastest run in each of those races, and won them by such outstanding distances against horses that in other years probably would have done really well. Like Sham is a super horse, but it wasn't at the level of Secretariat. Now, Secretary is wrong. Secretariat is its name. It's misnamed in the game. But oh my god, that to me is the best horse of all time. You can talk Man of War, you can talk other names. You can definitely put Frankel in that conversation. If you're an Aussie, you can kind of talk up Black Caviar, but like Secretariat is the be all and end all for me. So you can put them in. I hardly ever do. I'm not interested in beating them. If you don't click this legend repeat button, then some of them will only be there for like 2 seasons. You're not going to have a good enough horse season 1 or 2 unless you import them, which we'll go over along the line. It's just not going to happen. So, yeah, I just don't bother. If you do repeat, they're always going to come back and always going to come back. And it's too much. And you can't buy them. They'll never be at auction. You can't breed from them. They should never be in the breeding barn. So, like, they're only there as a challenge and it can be fun, but like not for me. So I always deselect all. If you've got a flat schedule, just want to put everyone in, you can click the flat and it'll choose all the flats. If you want to choose all the jumps, it'll choose all the jumps. Now, sadly, when you select one, it'll deselect the other. It should be like toggleable here, I think. Like flats on or off, jumps on or off. So you click both of them, it'll turn on or off. You don't then need to deselect all. If you've got to deselect all, why don't you have a select all? I don't know. But for me, Secretariat's my favorite. Frankel's number 2. Black Cavier's number 3. And Desert Orchid would be number 4. Count of Stars, really good. And then top Irish horse here is the Brack or Yeats. I prefer Yeats, but like I'm a fan of flat racing, not really jumps. So I'm probably going to go that way. Yeah. And even though these are legends, there are definitely horses you can put in here that you can beat. Like they're not amazing, amazing horses, but they're just legends for one reason or another. But for me, I'm turning them off. Then we start our new game. And what you're going to see is I can move my mouse around, but it's already kind of processing in the background and lags. And now it's building form. How's it building form? It's running through that one season. If you chose 10 season, this is going to take a long time. But it is basically simulating races for that entire year with this entire starting pool of horses. It's setting everything up to build our form and get through that first year. Starters Order 7 didn't used to do this. This is one thing they put in one of the more recent patches. I think it was a few years after the release of the game that it came in. They redid the breeding, they redid the training, they redid some of the racing stuff, and they included this seeding of the game world, which I don't love. I'm not one here to like worry too much about it, but also like just sitting and waiting for this is kind of annoying. I'm already over it. Like we're barely over halfway, so we just sit and wait. But yeah, like this only does happen once, and if you only do a year, it doesn't take that long. Your mileage may vary comparatively depending on your setup. If you've got a slow computer or something, like I don't know what to tell you. I can't help with that. But when it is done, it will kick you into the game fully, and then you can actually start to explore the game world. Number one, I'm gonna save because I don't want anything to happen and us not have a save. Um, that can happen sometimes. There are issues. And now I save again, so I have a backup save. So if it does crash and it corrupts the actual save, I got a backup save I can get to. Now I'm going to explain that. I've saved twice. It's going to save on quit anyway. But this will restore to backup. I can click, you can see the done appears, and we can go into the game. Now I can go forward until Friday the 7th. Save and quit. This is now on Friday the 7th, season 2, because we simulated that first season, remember? Now this is backed up. This should be back on January the 1st. Or the 2nd, I guess. But that's kind of how this works. So this is how we're going to save scum a little bit later. You can see we got 340,000. The first thing is, let's deal with the flashing icon. Your map, if you're in different countries, will look different. If you're in America, it'll also look different because, like, Belmont Park is where it is in real life. Now, if you haven't modded the game, I think it's somewhere over here because I don't know. Licensing, maybe? I don't know. But I always like this little triangle here. You got the Red Mile, Keeneland, which is known for its breeding sales, and Churchill Downs, the home of the Kentucky Derby. I like to drop myself right in the middle. I'll always choose the same spot. Now, what that does. Oh, excuse me. Oh, what that does is it will increase your costs. So, being in different places is like a modifier for how expensive it is. You can think of it as taxes. So, the feed's going to cost more, the staff are going to cost more. It's kind of a modifier. So if you're in a heavily built up area, it's going to cost a little more. If you're out of the way, it's going to cost less. But you're also going to travel further to some major race courses and major races, which it's kind of their way of balancing it out. So you're not always just choosing next to the main race courses if you've got one. I'm still going to do it because I think it's worth it. Then you can see we've got so much to buy. You can buy 6 of these. So the fact that, you can multiply this by 6. When not buying trailers or transports, we've got transporters, which are big, big lorries, basically like big tour buses that horses will go inside to get transported rather than just like a box truck, which is the transport van, or the horse trailer you can see here is just like a single horse trailer that you pull behind another vehicle. So we can take one horse in this. You give him one to begin with. You can put 2 horses in the van or up to 6 in the trailer transporter. So gonna want 6 of these. Gonna want one of everything else until we get right up to these top 2. And you can see here, you can either increase your stable capacity by 5, or you can just max it out to 512 for a ton more money. Basically, you're going to want about 5 million to do all these, and you're probably going to want a couple of million on top to buy a couple of nice horses along the way, or just to pay for things until you get your horse or horses winning. You can click on the name, and then rename it. Press enter to select. So we just renamed this the tutorial barn. This is what we're going to be, and we'll come back to these a little later. Now, I'm not going to do it for this, but if we don't find a good horse, you can save and quit, and then click this little trash icon to delete the game, and just create a new game and go through that entire seeding the form for a year again, and that'll give you a new 5 horses to check out if you're playing on easy. So number 1, we're going to look at our horses and see would we do that anyway. Short order, old mare. Actually not bad starting horse. Actually not a bad horse. Not gonna, don't get me wrong. Not gonna win much as a racer, but doesn't have bad potential. Has the 70 or above in extra speed I look for, and has a full finish application bar. If nothing else, like, this horse should go in the breeding barn. We don't own one yet, but that's something we could do. Not a bad horse. Theo de Biziano. Yeah, just terrible. Doesn't have much good stats anyway. I'm going to retire that one. Not worth running. A 3-year-old that can run at about a mile 1, mile 2. We're talking about Triple Crown. Highly doubt they're going to have potential at all. Little bit, not much, but not a bad horse. Not a good horse. Certainly not a good horse, but not a bad horse. We're going to save it because, like, there's enough here. If you breed from a really good male horse, then you just breed it against the best stud that's basically in the breeding pool. You got a shot at a decent filly. And if you're also breeding this with the best horse in the breeding pool, you got a shot at a decent filly or colt as well. So, yeah, neither one is going to do much right now. But we possibly have 2 breeders, which would be really nice. And you look here, seems to be 2 names. So, ain't talking, 2 Group 1 wins, 124 rated, that goes up to 140. And you can see they got some second and third places, which means they could have had a bunch of other Grade 1 wins. And then Nokrad de Verzy, excitable, probably would end there. But again, a bunch of second and thirds could have won a lot more, etc., etc. But for me, Ain't Talking's the one. So when we get the breeding barn, when we get everything in, Ain't Talking breeding with Gwenaira and with divination makes sense to me. So I already know what my plan's going to be. Do we have a racer? Not going to be Samarquand. Doesn't even look close enough there. Rutkin Siegfried. Yeah, just ain't good. Nope. What you can do is auction them out. You can put a price in, then click this to set up a reserve price. I'm actually just going to enter them into an auction and then skip through the day. You can see they go into the auction. And I'm just going to go here and just make sure they're going to sell for something. So this is already earning us more money than we've got, by the way. So you can sell your horses, especially the unraced 2-year-olds or 3-year-olds. That'll get you more money than if you just let them go. So looks like we're gonna get like 580K for a horse that we don't even like. So that gives us a decent amount of money. That's okay. That's step one. Um, should have sold the other horse, but the other two horses. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't, because we're gonna make our money another way. So just gonna save, because it's important we have the save. Now we're gonna go to the race day. We haven't got a horse racing, but we're gonna go race by race, looking at results. So we click the result button, and this is exactly what we're looking for: 4 3/4. We're looking for horses that win by at least 3 lengths if we can find them. 2.5 will do, but 3 lengths if possible. So race 1, we're going for notepad. So 1 notepad, that ain't good enough. That ain't good enough. Just very quickly, just looking here. Notepad, 1 notepad, 4 Arvico. 1 notepad, 4 Arvico, 5 adrenaline. And because I'm not writing these, you can write these down. Because I'm not, all I'm going to do is save and quit. Gonna back up to the start of that day. I got 1 notepad, 4 Arvico, and 5 begins with an A. So there's notepad. Click to bet on this horse. Max win. Submit. Max win. Submit. Max win. Submit. Max win. Submit. Max. You can see the money's going down. Now remember that in my other save, if you're looking at my YouTube save, I got like $2 billion that I've earned. I think it was like 3 billion I stopped. Just imagine having to click that many times when you're only able to bet like 150K a time. How much you're going to have to do for those later bets to kind of get up to that final place. So I'll bet all my money. I got all my money on Notepad. Hey, look at that, Notepad won. Imagine that, they won by 3 lengths again. Superb. We had 868, I want to say, thousand. Sweet, we got 1.8 million. Cool. Didn't like anyone in this race, didn't like anyone in this race, but we liked Arvico. Max win, buy out, max win, submit, max win, submit, max win. And we rinse and repeat. Because we know that they're capable of winning or have won at like a huge amount. Now that took less time, more money per bet. That's fine. As you bet, the odds are going to go down. If it hits a point where you're not making much money back, you can also just click this to advance time, and it'll kind of, as long as you haven't put too much money on it, it'll probably regress towards the mean, and then you can pull back up. Cool. Oh my God, Arvico won by 2 3/4. Imagine that. Who could have seen that coming? 1.8 million is now 2.8 million. We just gambled and won $1 million on those 2 races, and it's Adrenaline Flight. I didn't remember the name coming into this. That's 20K, that's 25, 34, now 40, 50. Remember, we're looking at ballpark of 5 million to buy everything, and then we want another couple of million on top of everything, right? So now we're down low. We are 8 to 11. Let's see if we can get that a little better. Not really. Depends how you do it, though. And then that's our last bet. And Adrenaline Fright. Wow. They won. Guys, we got $5 million. Save the game. We started on the second, now it's the fourth. We got $5 million. We've also hit our first achievement, which is basically gain $1 million. Because it's modded, it's kind of bugged, but you probably should see that a little better in your game if it's not modded. But yeah, $5 million. So now, like I said, that will be enough, roughly, to get everything you want here. So now what you want to do? Well, let's save the game. So if anything goes wrong at this point, we just reload back and we got the 5 million, right? Ooh, okay, 7 days. So 1-7. Sometimes you're not going to find horses you like. They're not going to win by enough. So don't be afraid to skip days. I didn't even count how much, but Avon Light right at the back end. I've forgotten the first name of the horse. So Avon Rougemont. Then we're going to save out. Revert to that backup, go back in again, repeat the process. 7 days, not even the favorite. Love to see that. Couple of bets past it being the favorite. See if we can bring it back down to longer odds, make our winnings count a little bit more. Yeah. 7 Avon, and I've forgotten the name of the other one, so we're probably not going to bet on the other one. But we're going to have enough from this. We're just going to click on through. It's going to eat through the money a little bit. They really like little charterage, which is great for us because it's pretty much just like chucking us up to max win. Oh my god, 7 days one. Like, that's unbelievable, guys. Are you seeing this? 13 million. You know what, guys? Yeah, we're not greedy. We're done. Don't even need the other horses. Cool. Stable's going to be maxed out. We're going to buy every single facility. Going to buy our first horse transporter. Click upgrade. That was about 4.4 million. The rest of the 5 million I talked about is going to get all of these up. Now we're just going to set everything. The high grade feed, high level of staff, pay them a lot of money, hire help for the paddock, and for the start of races, you get a groom there or a trainer that's actually with the horse calming them down. That'll help you in races a lot. Do not underestimate it. It's very low cost. You start the game with absolutely nothing. What we now have is a breeding barn that 2 average fillies can go into. Going to repeat the unsuccessful pairings. We're already going to put divination with Ain't Talking. Going to go to Friday. Going to see, do we like any of these horses? Is there anyone here that we like? Did you win your maiden by a distance? 2 furlongs, you're excitable. Don't love that. Next sale is gonna be on the 14th, because it's every Friday. The 22nd, I should know by now, 22nd, then February the 10th, then March the 1st. The 3 dates I'm looking for. Let's go forward a few more days. Can breed Ain't Talking. And that was like $1 million to breed those 2. So we're going to get 2 falls. We've paid about $1 million to get those 2 falls. We still have $7 million in the bank. We've got 2 falls on the way that should be like better than what the starting 5 that we started with, and able to race them next season. And we've completely filled out our barn, all by using the money cheat through betting and resetting the save. And it's really simple. And so many people ask me about this, and like, how'd you get so much money? I bet on 4 races, and I got what, 13.5 million. That's how broken it can be if you want to take advantage of that to set your save up. If you don't, more power to you. Me, I don't like grubbing for money. I don't like suffering with bad horses for a long time. I don't want to grind in this game. I'm taking money out the occasion. Out of the equation. I am doing this to set me up. And like, probably nothing's going to come with these Friday auctions, right? So I'm just going to go around to the 22nd. That's the first time anything interesting might pop up. It's like if they win the maiden, check. 5 3/4 lengths. That's a big distance. I like hot curry. I like hot curry. There's a bunch of unraced. So if they're worth a lot of money, that could be interesting. It doesn't always really mean that they're anything. So I'm going after hot curry. I think if nothing else, it's cheaper. It's got a good breeding indicator. Isana is the other one. So you can go, if you've got a ton of money, you can go and buy even more. I figure this is a 650. Yeah, 650. So there's different breakpoints you'll notice that horses get up to. And once you understand those, you can just keep bidding until the AI stops, and then you win the race. This is going to be what, a mil? No, this is a 900,000 one, just under. Okay. We picked out two. We picked out one for distance. We picked out the one that won the maiden by 5 furlongs, which sometimes is an indicator of a good horse, not always. But also, I decided to go after fillies because if they're not great to race, but they're okay in general, we can always put them in the breeding barn and breed them with Ain't Talking and get another young a fall out of it. So Sana is terrible. Not even going to bother with that one. Hot Curry at least looks like they got some decent speed here. But we live and die on this screen, and I think we die. So I'm going to keep it around. I'm going to keep it around for one reason, and one reason only. I'm going to skip time. Book a race like the day or two before you want to get to. You can always remove it from a race. And now rather than clicking through, we're right next to February 10th, which is the next auction I really want to go to, which is the Breeders' Auction. And again, you're just looking for any graded winners or anyone that's got a good racing pedigree, anyone that's got a high rating, just whatever it is, whatever makes you want to go after them, go after them. The only one that's won a race and has a decent rating is and the project, which is normal disposition 1 mile 2. I like those. Go 4.6. And again, we're not worried about money. And if we got to, we'll go back in and bet even more and get ourselves 20, 30 million so we can just buy out auctions if we want to. So look solid there. Please be something. Not a lot. Not bad. Not something I want to race, but you know what? I don't mind it being in the breeding barn because I'm going to triple down on this and I'm going to breed again with Ain't Talking. I think it's the best horse early in the game. I'm just going to keep breeding with it with anyone that's half decent to get myself a horse for the next one next season. Now I want to go to the first. So this is going to put me a day before, which is okay. You don't want to go to the day of. Like if the race was the second, it'd put you on the first, but because the auction's on the first, it would have already done that. This is going to put me on the yearling auction. So now you get to see what a yearling auction kind of can offer you. And we don't have a ton of money. I'm going to limit myself to the grade 1 sire large build, which I do like. It's not indicative of anything, but I do like. So we're going after Buckland. Then the other thing I like is a laid back horse. So Seasonal Splendor is going to be the other one. Luckily, they're both fairly cheap. Let's also go after the two most expensive ones and see where they're at. I don't want to spend a ton. So 100 grand will get me Buckland. This is going to be half a mil, so that's not too bad. If these are both half a mil, I'm going to be fairly happy with that because we still got a ton of money. We're just giving ourselves more and more options. I got two Colts and two Phillies, so like if the Colts aren't good racers, then they're done. What is this? 420. Let's go to 430 just so I can get. Got to wait for the reserve not met to disappear to fade out the message. This is already over. This is going to be like 3. So skip, make sure it gets to you, and then back out. So yeah, Buckland, we didn't mind this one. Large build. What a Steal has won graded races in Japan. The Japanese horse, and it is absolutely terrible. We could sell it, make money back, but again, we're not worried about money. That's not a mechanic in this game for us the way we play, so that's fine. Strawberry Berry. Sarah Berry. Yikes. Keisha King. Yikes. Seasonal Splendor. Don't like how much there is to fill there, but like, yeah, sure. It's laid back. It's never going to hit that potential as a 2-year-old, but it could kind of get towards 70 as a 3-year-old, which is a viable racer-ish. And it's got everything else that I kind of look for a little bit. It's not bad. It's definitely the best we have. Um, this is not bad. And we're just going to use Hot Curry again to go to the next sale, which is the 7th of March. We're not going to do that. Yeah, we've already bred one. Two-year-old auction. Anyone outstanding? Not really. I guess we're looking at the unraced 2-year-olds. Have a look at the two expensive ones. Come on, don't go all the way. No, I gotta. Ugh. Okay, yeah. We just priced ourselves out a rapid return, which can happen. But I'd rather go after the filly than the colt, because again, we can breed from it, and this again is another similar horse again. So yeah, I'm gonna get rid of Hot Curry, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna race this horse. Because it's not bad. It doesn't have a ton of speed, acceleration, or start, which is kind of what I look for here. Stamina will determine the distance. It's not a bad horse, not a great horse. If you race it well, it might fill out this bar, and then as a 3-year-old, it might have really nice potential. It's got some good extra speed, like over 80, which I like. Full finish, I like. If it doesn't win races, it's gonna keep losing because it's low on confidence. That's kind of how that works. But we're just gonna book ourselves in a cheeky little maiden and second place. Okay. Short headed out, slowly away, so we didn't run well early. No extra. Trip suit the perfect ground suit this purpose. So this is what we wanted to do. We just started poorly. And basically we were neck and neck and just a tiny bit behind the winner. That's fine. That was a 5 furlong. I'm going to go to a 6 furlong. Give myself about a week to 2 weeks. And now that we're going to book ourselves in. What we really should have done early on as well is find a jockey and an apprentice. So I'm looking at high skill, then honesty and obedience. I don't really care about because I don't tend to give very many instructions. So looks like we have a contender straight away. So we're going to hire ourselves Luca Panici. And then, yeah, it's just, again, going through the list, finding a guy that you really like. He's not bad. He's not bad. He's kind of low weight, which is interesting because I don't know how the game sets up for different weights. I'm not sure. It says 8'6". That's normally an okay place to be. If I could get like an amazing 8'3" or an 8, I would. In real life, there's like question marks for, like, that's 8'1". He's pretty good. I might just go with this guy. He's not the best, but he's good enough. So I'm going to do that. And then auto book means whenever I book a race, they're going to try and put our jockey in. So we've got our jockey and our apprentice. And now scroll down till you find your guy. He's going to have the indicator next to him. Got to book him in manually this time, but he would be there normally. And usually if you scroll all the way down to the bottom, you'll find your apprentice there with the £7 allowance. Next to his name, as he wins races, that'll decrease to 5 and 3, I believe, pound allowances. But yeah, most horses are going to go in at certain weights. I think 8'3" is the lowest I've seen, which is kind of why I want a jockey that weighs that or less, or otherwise they're always going to be carrying more weight than they need to. So that's something to keep an eye on. But yeah, we got him in a race, got a jockey booked. 23rd of March is the next. But we've tested at 5 furlongs, it didn't work out. This is either 5 or 6. At 20% of the bar filled, it would be 7 furlongs or a mile. And then from 25% all the way up to 65% is a mile 1 to a mile 2. Like, yeah, it's quite a big jump. And then when you get up to like 65 and above to like 80% maybe, you're looking at a mile 3 to a mile 4. And anything above can be like 2.5 to 3 miles, depending on the country you're in and what races you have available. So it's just kind of crazy. And the distance adaptability will help mitigate that. Just like the going and surface adaptability will mitigate what surface you're running on, because each horse has a preference. Furious Kiss likes a good track. This was a good to soft track. So they like this track. It's suited the way they want to run. This position can be laid back, which means they're nice and calm. Can be excitable, which means they're very agitated, or it can be normal, which is just a regular horse. I like normal horses, and I love laid back horses. Everything else is kind of explained. Um, like this, what is this? The I think it's just like how ready they are maybe to race, how fit they are to race, what condition the horse is in, like in terms of overall and in terms of their race. I kind of ignore these a lot because I'm on simple training mode. I don't need to pay too much attention. Speed is how quick the horse in general can run. That's just how quick it is. Acceleration is how quickly it gets up to its top speed. Start is how well it starts a race. Stamina determines the length. Jumping I ignore because I don't play on jumps, but this will be how good mechanically of a jumper it is. Then your potentials. Green is where it's at. Light green is how much it can grow this season. I like to term it instead ability and potential. It's less confusing for me. Battling quality is really rare, but like at the finish of a race, this is like it's dig deep to win. Constitution, just like how much it can race in general. Confidence, whether loss is affected or not. Cruising burst, how much it can go above its actual speed. So like just a random chance that it runs quicker than it normally would. Um, Extra speed. So like it's got a normal running speed and it's got like its top end all out speed. That's kind of extra speed. Cruising burst goes on top above that. Deterioration, how quickly it falls off as an older horse. I don't tend to race them past 4 years of age. I don't care about this bar. If you're different, then yeah, sure, you're gonna have to factor that in. Enthusiasm, just like, is it gonna race properly or not? I tend to ignore it. Um, Finish application, right at the end of a race. Again, how well is it gonna finish a race? Consistency is just again how consistent a horse is. Distance adaptability, surface adaptability. We've gone over. Juvenile constitution, how much racing it can do as a 2-year-old. Maturity rate is how quickly it's going to get to its peak. So this is how quickly it gets to its peak. This is how quickly it falls off from its peak. Um, how training will help the horse. Again, I don't really play that way, so we ignore it. Jumping ability and jumping speed. So how well it jumps and how quickly it kind of jumps and recovers from jumping. And then quirks, again, if you're not playing jumping, you probably won't see a lot of quirks. It seems to be more on that side of the game. And that's just odd traits that could be a factor in races, usually negatively. That's kind of the basics of the horse. And like I say, if you've got decent speed, acceleration, and start, and then you've got decent ability potential, extra speed, finish application, with any battling qualities or cruising burst as a bonus, with adaptability as a bonus, those are kind of the key things I would look for. So we didn't win a 5 furlongs. We're running a 6 furlongs. We're going to win. We're going to win comfortably. So anything over 3 furlongs, I say, is a good win. 4 means you're probably a really good horse. And sometimes in maidens, you see like you win like 6, 8, 10, 12 furlongs. Like that is just a really good horse. Or you're running against a glue factory that doesn't realize it yet. So, yeah. But we won a maiden and we got a decent rating. That's okay. I know it's looking for group races. And again, we know we want 6 furlongs as a grade 3 5. We could try it. We're not worried about it. We know we got this little 2-year-old auction. And again, We got some grade 1 horses. Native, what happened? Go extra 5 lengths back. Wish I knew. Wish I knew. It doesn't look like a lot, so I don't think I saved. I was going to do the betting. Don't think I saved, so let's just save. And then we can go to the bet and get some actual money again. So Alexander, if I can get 3, 1 Alexander. Doesn't look like much else. And I didn't realize that we were out of the day's racing. So we skipped forward some time, doesn't matter, we're going back in time anyway. And like 14 to 1. Try and get the money up. Try and get the odds out again. That's a good thing, is like the odds aren't dipping below like 7 to 1. We're dropping like 1,000,000 on this. Oh my God, Alexander Cape Town won. Can you believe it? Yikes, there's $10 million. Uh, see, 20th. Yeah, 3rd of May is pretty much where we're looking for. Say, if we can add more to the breeding barn, that would be great. I'm not confident in this race. But because we're out of maidens, I would usually go and watch the race, and I can also then evaluate what actually happened. Were we cut off? Did the jockey take a bad ride? Were we, stumbling at the start like we did there? We didn't really start well. We could get blocked off if horses ran our way here. Did we not time our advance right? Looks like we've got a good advance. We're already up and in the mix coming towards the end of the race. We've got the final furlong. And we got a shot. And remember, we didn't run great in our 5 furlong maiden. This is a 5 furlong. We ran really well at 6. And again, it looks like we maybe had more to give towards the end of the race there. And a horse that's good at running 5 furlongs is going to be a little quicker than a 6. And so we don't quite fit in. But we're not far back. That 88 rating, we go up to a 91. And didn't have the pace for most of the race. Trip just appeared to suit well. Definitely, to me, seems like this is a 6 furlong horse. Now, there's no real races. So, group race, you can see 0 at all. But yeah, this just gives us a chance. When was it? 3rd of May. I've gone past that. That's fine. Let's go towards the 1st of May. Skip to next. It's just going to eat into the time. But this is how you're going to get through the first couple of seasons quickly. And this is why I didn't show this in my other save, because I don't think this is that interesting. I think it's informative and it helps people be able to kind of, get their saves set up correctly. But I just don't think this is interesting to watch. And I don't think If this is the start of my playthrough series, I don't think there'd be any chance of it going anywhere. So I basically selected to bid on all the breeding mares. This is an excitable horse, I stay away. Don't care how good they are, stay away. Excitable again, we stay away. Excitable, oh my god. Come on, give me something to work with. It's probably going to be trash. It's very cheap. We just get our bid up and then we move on. Like 20 or 30 grand, I'm going to buy these horses. They're probably going to be nothing, but you can be surprised. I mean, you could min max this and get it a lot cheaper, but like, I'm just not that interested. A mile 7 is really interesting to me. That's really interesting to me. If you've got a Shawking who likes running at 6 or 7, you breed that. Like you get your good sort of distance. Who is this? Sharpville. Oh, already down that far. Very cheap. A laid back with a mild, like, yeah. If this turns out to be anything, then I'd be very, very happy. So I'm just buying out all the non-excitable mares at this breeding auction. We'll go have a look at them, and again, if any is worthwhile, we can breed them to the best stallion we found so far. And if they're not, then so be it. That's the last horse in the auction. So El Royale, no finish application, looks okay elsewhere. Mooncross looks like trash. Um, Gathering looks like trash. And this is what I expected. I expected most to look like trash. But to be fair, for 35 grand, El Royale is solid without a finish application. You can kind of breed that back in. It's definitely not the best, but yeah, the fact that we got anything, oh, that battling qualities. Oh my god, the battling qualities. Why is it never on a good horse? I don't know. But oh my god, even if you suck on potential, like you breed this with the best horse in the game, you might max out your finish application. You might get that extra speed up to 70. That potential might rise even only to like 50 to 60. And the battling qualities might drop to about 60. Then you breed it again with another top horse. Like you breed that foal with another top horse, and you probably get your potential up over 70 to 80. This decreases to like 30 to 40, but it's still such a useful attribute. Extra speed could be up 70 to 80 still. Cruising burst isn't too bad there. We could be keeping that roughly the same with a full finish. That's what this can potentially get you. I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't expecting that. It's nice though. It's nice. Extra speed finish. An okay potential. Yeah, not bad, not bad. We got some things out of it, so it's another 3 kind of options. And then we just go back, we check the groups, and then suddenly we got a group 1 at 6, which is what we like. It's a basic grade 3, that's June. Like really, unless we've got something come up in the breeder sale, I'm probably okay to skip to June. But the problem is is this breeding. I kind of want to make sure that we're getting this done as soon as possible. It usually takes 7 days. This should be on the 17th. Go one more day past it. That should free up. And now we can go to early June for this grade 3. It's a basic grade 3. It's nothing crazy. 2-year-olds. Don't look bad. Maiden by 1. Not enough of a winning margin for me to kind of worry about. Maiden by a lot. Probably not because of distance. This could be because of distance. 2.2. Rakan could be okay. Rakan could be okay. Let's put Rakan in. Yeah, let's just do a Rakan. Let's see. Okay. Just terrible. And then got this race up. Let's just see. Bit of a long video to start with, but I kind of want to get like the bulk of explaining how to set things up and the money cheat and all that kind of thing. So you saw the entire thing, how we would set up. And what we were able to do is get enough money to buy out our complete stables. We've got our jockey, we've got our apprentice, we've got a decent horse, we've got 3 or 4, excuse me, average horses in the breeding barn, nothing super special. And we got a horse that can run and maybe win a grade 3 by a short head, or win a grade 3. And what I always say is for my 2-year-olds, I want 100 rating and I want a graded race. They need to win a maiden, then they need to win a grade 3, they need to get 100 rated and hopefully fill up their potential. And like a previous case, another race or 2 could fill up that potential. 91 rated, got a grade 3. Like, there's so much to like here. Like right now, we've gone through to June. We've got all these other options at this breeder here. We've got a grade 2 winner. Yes, multiple grades. 2 grade 2s, 2 grade 3s. Love to see that. We go into the 30. You best believe we're picking up that horse and taking a look. And once again, what we can do, if you don't even want to see, like, let's go ahead. Let's save before. Let's go dump this money on Dongil. She's excitable. Should have looked. Doesn't look amazing. Cool. Down to 3.6 million. Or are we? Oops, I missed the auction. We'll never know. So yeah, you can save scum for that. You can save scum for race results. You can put in a race. If you don't win, you can like save scum, go back and save. I don't really do it for auctions. I hate doing it for races. I kind of like think that you only really should get one chance at the race, and like you can do it for auctions, but I think what you miss there you'll pick up elsewhere. So I don't think you need to worry about it in general. So it's up to you how much you want to do that, but that's a trick you can do. And like I say, it'll get you some decent horses and some decent money to work with, and just accelerate that start of the game so you're getting into the actual meat and potatoes of the game for me, which isn't just racing with bad horses, coming in ninth, losing 10 grand a month, scrambling for money, just trying to breed to sell a horse for 100 grand 1 year so you can keep going for the entire year, and by year 10 getting to the point we're already at now, but probably even then not with 5 million in the bank and not with a fully bought out farm. So it really is up to you how you want to play the game, but like I say, this is kind of how I do it. I'm up for an Ascot shout. I'm up for Ascot. We'll get obliterated. I'm fully expecting to like get obliterated. We're not even gonna watch it. And again, what you can do if you really worry about these things, you can save, you skip. Oh my god, how do we win? How do we win? This isn't that good a horse, but 102 in a grade 2, we've already hit my metrics. We're probably never gonna gain this potential. Um, so be it. We're gonna stick at 60 for the year. Let's say we're gonna stick at 60. Let's say we're gonna stick at 60. Let me finish off the season in style. Get me to Friday. Don't know why I'm looking at horses. It doesn't matter. Give me the last horse. Because I can get them for cheap. Cool. Ophelia's going in the breeding barn and is now going to breed yet with Ain't Talking. Okay, since we got all the breeding set up, what we're going to do then, if we think we're done for the year, we're just going to book as late as we can, and we're going to skip to the next race. And this is going to put us a day before the end of July, I believe. And you can typically book like a month and a half, 2 months out. We don't actually want to race. We just want to get all the way down, though we can get all the way to September 3rd. And we're going to book out time. And this is a useful trick to have if you're kind of done for the year. Like we're kind of done with our 2-year-old there. Like she was okay, but like as long as you got one horse, you can do this trick, and you can go all the way to November. Just enter, skip. You're gonna pay an entrance fee for each of these races. It's not gonna be much. Using the money trick, or you're selling horses. If you're at the point where you got a breeding program, you're selling horses for all money. Like that's not gonna matter either. But we're just skipping through the season, and then it gets you to season 2. And what will happen at season 2 is you've got other horses now. You've got yearlings. Usually, end of November will be the end of your season. Again, remember this is modded, so this schedule goes all the way up to the end of December. It will mess with your breeding program. You will get horses born before the end of the year, which I think we're probably at that point right now. So I'm going to book that race in December 30th. But if I look at breeding, no, everyone's just in fall. So let's go then towards the end of February, and there we go. So Divination and Gwenera have already had their horses. So we bought Seasonal Splendor, remember? Looked okay, so we got at least one filly. Now we can see the Gwenera has bred with Ain't Talking to get us Vagrant Rocker. Lacks a little bit of extra speed, but like looks pretty decent. And then Divination with Ain't Talking. Yeah, fully expected this one to look worse, and it does. But half a bar finish. We could rebreed that. I'm just going to retire it from game for now, not to confuse too much. What we can also do, actually, I'm going to save that for the next video because this is running long, and it's a tip to be done for a whole season. So we're going to end off the season. We're going to set things up. It's going to save everything down. You can see the actual horses we've got here. Tower 2 looks solid. Like for this early in the game, like looks really fairly solid. Full finish, 70 extra speed, over 50% ability, over 70% potential. I like Tower 2. Chocos. Good, just no finish application. And just, I ain't got time to mess about with things below. I needed ability and not full finish as well, so Pay the Bank can go. Echo River. That's not full finish. Catalino does not full finish. Looks good elsewhere. But like again, I'm not going for good horses, I'm going for great horses. And I think this fits really nicely in what we want to do. And really, you only need one per year. So that's going to come up. Then you've got the pre-season auction and everything else. You can save and look at things. So now we've got our yearling. And because these were yearlings before the end of the season, they've automatically become 2-year-olds. So all of a sudden, we've got new 2-year-olds, including Valiant Rocker, who's okay. And Seasonal Splendor, who's got a ton of potential left to make up. And now we really don't need this horse anymore that just got us through the year. So, bits of tricks there for you to see. How to really, season 1, remember, that was all season 1, get millions in the bank to buy out everything, to go to these certain auctions, to get some horses into the breeding barn, breed them against the best horse you can find. Just, give yourself an option so you've actually got some bred horses, and now you're kickstarting your breeding program. You're kickstarting that quality into your breeding to the point where you're getting horses out of it every year that can win grade 1 races. And we slowly establish, can they win grade 1s? Can they win big feature races? Can they win the superstar races? Can they win as a 2-year-old? Can they win graded races like grade 1s? Can they win in Saudi Arabia? Can they win the Dubai World Cup? Like, so many different, the Breeders' Cup. Like, just build towards your targets and your goals. But doing this is a certain way to accelerate. This is why I play this way. We don't do training. We keep it easy. We get some horses to begin with. We try and work with what we've got, the best of what we got. We gamble and use the exploit to, like, find a couple of winners that are probably going to win every time they race. Put all our money in, double down every single time, all in, and just use that to accelerate to the point now where we're racing. And in 2 or 3 years of breeding, we'll have an actual good horse, and we'll be able to start competing for those Triple Crown races. And that is where I started the other series. Season number 5 or 6. We had the 1 year simulated, then I played for 5 years. I played for 4 years. And at the start of season 6 is where I showed you what I had. So, in the next one, I'm going to talk about how to scout out the best stud. Going over different things that we look for. We've already bred with one of them. I'm going to talk more about evaluating your breeding mares and when to go from quantity to quality and how I would do that. When I would put a stud in. And everything that comes with that. So we're going to focus now on breeding and my kind of thoughts and tips on that in the second video. But I hope you've enjoyed this first one, and please do smash that like button and subscribe if you already haven't. But most importantly, put a comment down in the comment section. Let me know if what I've talked about made sense. If you have any further questions on what we've gone over today, and also what else you want to learn. Even if I've already mentioned it, like mods or whatever, feel free to mention it down in the comment section below. We will be going over those things as this series progresses. I don't know how many videos it'll be. Hopefully the next one will be a bit shorter, but this was a big establishing one of how to set up a game and just play with the very basic exploit of the money exploit, and kind of how that sets you up and accelerates so much of the game for you. And like I say, it's not editing anything or hacking anything or anything crazy. It's very simple, it's very quick, and if you mess it up, that's fine, because you're going to be reloading to the start of that day anyway. So I thought that was a good place to put things. But if there's any other questions about what we've gone over, or anything else you want to learn about, anything else you have further questions on, or questioned why I did something if I didn't explain it well enough, please do put that down in the comment section below. We will be picking out those comments and kind of going over things as we expand on the series, and we'll see how many videos of these we need to put out in the future. But my goal is to get you comfortable with different ways to play the game, to get what you want out of it, to achieve your goals, and not get bogged down in the mechanics of the game, where I don't find it fun, and a lot of people don't find it fun to play. So we try and remove as much of that as possible, and you can do that to varying degrees. Like, you can just get enough money to buy out all the facilities and then not have money in the bank to buy horses as a kickstart your breeding program. Or you can do what I did and just get like 20 million in effect and just buy out everything and buy out an auction or two. You could do what I did in the other save and get millions or billions to like buy out every auction and just like get great horses in and really kickstart. So yeah, I want you to be able to play the way you want to play, understand how you can do that, and cut down on the grind of the times that just aren't that interesting, I feel. So, anything else, you let me know, comment section down below. We'll be back to our regular starters order save again soon, and the Out the Park baseball save. So I hope to see you on those as well. Show the channel some love for the algorithm. Let's get it out there. Let's get more people involved and grow our community, and just have some fun when we're doing it. I hope this has helped. I've been Chris. I'll see you back here soon. More tips and tricks on Starters Order 7, as well as the gameplays that I've talked about. Till then, take care.